everybody, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles. We're back with another one-page wonder. So this one's a little, or the video's a little different because I made it with some scrapbook paper, but the one we make together, we're gonna make out a book page. So you do need like one 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, and we're gonna cut it in half so you have two 6 by 12s. So I will show you in a minute the type of book page I'm using to make that work. But first, let's look at the Graphics Fairy paper one that I made with the It's Raining Cats and Dogs kit. So this one, isn't that cute, opens like this. And there's a nice big pocket here in the front. And I put some of the journaling cards. I attached this journaling card this way to make a pocket, and then when you go to the next page, must have had some glue. I'll have to fix that. Anyway, it pops open like this. Isn't that cute? Made another little pocket here, and then it opens this way. They have a belly band. It says home is where my dog is. We have a little pocket tuck spot here. And then we have a nice big open one here, okay? This one was inspired by Pink Strawberries, and I think she did hers a couple of years ago like this. But anyway, I liked it, and I wanted to create my own version. So let's set that aside. Now, I am fortunate that I have some of these large coffee table type books that I don't mind tearing apart to use the book page. Okay, so to make it work the way I wanted to, I pulled out a double, kind of a double spread, just like this one. Okay, and this is a little more than 12 inches, so I cut it to 12 inches, and then I cut two 6 by 12 pieces from that. So that is what I am going to use today for our one-page wonder. And then I also have some digitals we're going to decorate it with, which I'll show you when we get to that point. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to score one of the 6 by 12s. I'm just looking at my notes. At 4 and 8, which is kind of, when you're making one this size, is a pretty common place to score. I'm trying to be gentle. This is pretty, even though it's old, it's fairly sturdy, but I certainly don't want to slice through it with my score tool. Okay, now we are going to score the second 6 by 12 at a 1/2 inch, 4 1/2, and 8 1/2. I will put the measurements and the scoring down below in the description box for the video in case you want to make one too. All right, now let's take the first piece that we scored at 4 and 8, and I'm just going to be careful and make sure everything is folded neatly and that it folds up. Occasionally with these, depending on if they're cut perfect or scored right, it kind of buckles when you go to fold them up like this. If this little flap is even a smidge past the score line, if that happens to you, just trim a tiny sliver off of this end, and that will help. Trying to decide which piece I want for the part of the cover. I'm gonna go this way. I kind of like that type. I don't know what I'm gonna decorate with yet, but nope, that's not actually gonna be the cover. This is gonna be the cover. So look at your paper, and whatever panel is in the middle, one of those will be the cover. And you'll see why in just a second. All right, I'm sorry I keep flipping it. I'm going to do it this way because I really do like that and I want to save that. So this is going to end up being my cover because this is going to be that pocket page when you first open it up. So I'm going to get a little bit of ink on here so you can see where I'm going to cut. All right, so I've decided it folds up like this. This is going to be my cover. This is going to be that large pocket page. So I just want you guys to not get confused about what panel I'm cutting. All right, so if you have it folded over like this, if you then open it, I need to turn mine just like this to be able to cut the angle that I want. So I'll do that one more time and hopefully you guys can follow along. This is going to be the pocket. So I'm going to open it this way. You see where I inked it for you. And then I'm going to turn it to get on the correct angle. And I'm just going to eyeball it and just cut an angle. Now, if you do not want to eyeball it like I did, what you can do is you're on the page that's going to be the pocket. Make a mark at approximately 1.5 inches and then come all the way up to this top corner and then draw yourself a line. I hope that helped. And I did not confuse you guys too much. Okay, this is going to be the pocket and we're going to go ahead and glue it down. So there's no risk of getting confused. So this is pretty easy. You have a trifold, the flap that comes over becomes your pocket, and we're going to glue it down. All right. I'm going to glue right here and then along the bottom. And then just fold it over. I know that was a lot to get to this point. Okie doke. Now, let's set this aside. And this is the piece where we did that little score at 1/2 inch. And again, I don't know yet which way I want to use this paper. And then I'm going to fold on the other score lines. And make sure everything looks neat. All right. Now, this is actually going to be how we attach this to the cover. So if you pick the piece up that we just worked on, you have your 1/2 inch score on the left-hand side. It's gonna, that's not the front pan. It is going to wrap around like this. And that is how this page attaches. Okay, now my options, I want my text running the same way. So really, I could do it this way. Let's see if we like that better. And then we'd have white, or you know, the creamy color here. And then if you turn it, the text is running the same direction. I think I'm going to do that. And then I have whatever options with my other papers to decorate with. All right, the rest of the inking I can do here in just a minute after I get this attached. So again, take the piece that is your cover with your pocket, have it folded, have your little 1/2 inch score folded and on the left-hand side, and you just slide that right there. We're going to add glue to this side of the flap and our folio will be attached. Okay. All right. So this is the cover. You open it up and you have a pocket. you have a panel. This piece that is on the far right, we are going to flip over. I'm going to go ahead and ink this one. Now I want a little notch. This is optional because this is going to become the pocket. Picking a 1.5 inch circle punch, and I did mine kind of up here at the top, and I thought that looked cute. So I'm going to do that again. A little notch. All right. And I'm just going to glue this one at the bottom. I really liked that. And that was in the original video too, just so that you have a lot of room in this pocket to tuck things. And then on mine, I added a little corner here, and we'll decide about that in a little bit. All right. Now, this folds in like this. This folds like this, and we are assembled. So let's just look at it. We open it up and we have a pocket. This page flips open like this, and this page is like this. Now, if you want, it can go this way. So that you really can decide which page you want to get to first. All right. Fun. All right, I'm gonna take just a sec and ink around my edges that I haven't done yet because I do want them inked. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you are still liking the one-page wonders. They're some of my favorite. I do like making larger journals, larger folios, and I do that as well. But certainly the one-page wonders, it's just, I think, delightful to see what we can do, whether it's a 12 by 12 piece of paper or 8.5 by 11, right? It's just fun. And sometimes the smaller ones, even if there's a little folding and all of this involved, they're a little bit quicker, and you have a nice finished project that wasn't too overwhelming. So there we go. Love it. Now, we are going to decorate it. The paper that I'm using, I wanted to do, I'll tell you why I picked this paper. I fell in love, and hopefully we get to use it somehow. Well, of course, there's a chicken, but look at that pig. That just made me so happy. So this is a paper kit by LianaScraps, and it's the Rustic Farm Junk Journaling add-on kit. I didn't get the full kit yet. I may at some point with all the pages, but I knew I just wanted this ephemera, and I wanted to get to play with it. So there's tags. There's a bunch of these where you can punch the actual circle or leave, you know, the square decor around it. There's some labels. Look, there's that piggy, chickens. So anyway, we're going to see what we can do with this. There's some envelopes that I cut out, but I may end up using just some of the paper. I don't know. And there's this fabulous, I haven't put it together because I probably will use these in a different way in this project. But look at this cute stacked pocket that comes in the kit. Of course, you want to punch those out, and then you can just make a lovely stacked pocket with all kinds of ephemera. So anyway, I'm having fun, and we are going to use this Rustic Farm papers to make our folio just look super cute. So now one option might be, let's fold this up because this coin envelope might look cute attached in some way to the front. And if not, we can still use the pieces from it. I am going to score it really quick so that the envelope folds up nicely. I at least had it cut out. And again, decorating, completely up to you. And especially when we use book page like this, you could make some of these and have them in your stash and ready for when you want like something to coordinate, maybe with a larger journal, or maybe you need a gift for someone, right? And you just have them ready to go. Cute. If nothing else, if I don't put it on the front, the envelopes could go in some of the pockets. So sweet. And I love the little plaid on here. Let's get a little bit of ink. I don't need a lot. It already has some on the, you know, on the paper for you. Okay. And I'm sure you guys have put these together before, but I just put a little bit of glue right along the edge. And then here at the bottom. And then if I'm going to attach it to the top, or yeah, to the cover, I want to be able to get in it, right? So what I may do is do my flap this way, and we'll cover this with a different paper. And something that might work too. And I like this image. I mean, it's nice, but I might like one of these, like the cow. I might like the cow a little bit better. Could also do something like that. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to find in here a portion or a piece of paper. And I think this will work right there with the little flowers. I'll probably end up decorating the front. All right, so it's 1 inch. So here we go. We are going to, oh, what are we gonna do? All right, I'm gonna cut first this bookmark like this. And then I don't know exactly how much I need. And I'm gonna cut 1 inch width because I know I want these little flowers. All right, set this aside. And if I go ahead and just glue this to the flap, then I can trim it out. That's gonna be cute. All right, I hope this makes sense because it's opposite, right? It's, and then, you know, when you, if you flap it open, you can, but then you have the little pocket. The other thing we could do is just cut it off and put a little notch, but then it looks just kind of like a regular old pocket. Let's just stay with this and see if we like it. Do something a little different. Okay. Stick it down. Cute. And now I'm just going to flip it over and use the actual envelope itself to help me get it trimmed up nicely. Hopefully my scissors cooperate. I like that. Now, the other thing I didn't think of is, since I'm not that, I mean, I like the image, but since that's not exactly my favorite, I could do it like this. You open up, you'll have the flowers, and then you actually can see that. Would I like that better? Or do I want to do this kind of strange little flap? It's weird, isn't it? But it's cute. Let's see if I pick, like I said, there's quite a few images that we could pick. I was kind of leaning towards, where did that square go that I had in my hand? That's what happens when you get too many things out on your desk. There it is. Too many pretty things. The little cow. He's kind of cute, and I like that I decorated that when you go to open it up. And you only see a little bit of white. We could also put a piece down in there, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right, I am going to do it this way. I am going to attach the cow. And then it'll just be a nice treat for whoever chooses to open this to see that decorated flap. Okay. And I may decide we need to put something on this side. Now, I also want something along this edge. You know? Just a little something. Ooh, maybe I will use, how would the yellow plaid? You know, just so many fun, pretty things to look at. I'm gonna have to think about it. Ooh, maybe a piece of ribbon. I'm seeing something that I can reach. So it's almost this color. Oh no. Let's see. I'm struggling a little. I didn't plan any of the decorations, so it's not a bad thing. It's just, what do I want, right? I'm wondering, how about we do something like this? But we come through and maybe tie it into like a little bow. This ribbon is the sari silk, and it's, when it's all bunched together like this, like it's supposed to be, it's a little thick. So sometimes what I will do, let me do 1, 2, 3, a little extra. And I'm gonna try to split it so I don't have quite as much bulk, especially since I'm gonna put it on the little journal, the little album. Let's see. Ooh, lots of string there. Okay, we'll set that piece aside, the ball. And I'm definitely gonna have to trim or pull some of these off, right? Because I got lots of strings. And I think having it a little thinner, it won't have as much bulk, and it'll just lighten it up a bit. That's my hope. Okay. So I may or may not need that hot glue, but I have it just in case. Let's see if we like it before I get committed to anything. I definitely like the thinner piece. I'm not going to trim it off yet until I make sure I really like it. Okay, so let's leave the hot glue in case we need it later. Yeah, that kind of helps break that up. Trying to decide underneath if I'm okay with the book page the way it is. Or do I want a little pop of something? I do have these words, and I have these tabs. We'll probably end up using at least one of those. Does it say chickens roam? I wonder if there's something about a cow. Tranquil pastures, pastoral retreat. Farmyard joy makes me happy. Okay, about this one. Farm life, where every season brings a new reason to be grateful. How about cultivate joy? Now I have an oval. Ooh, it's pretty close. Let's just use it. There's not many things. It was a Stampin' Up! One that went with, I think, a specific stamp set. So there's not too many things unless I just want an oval piece of paper, but that it works for. I'll just set it off to the side a little bit. And I'm going to add a Velcro dot to help that stay closed. Okay, these are the super skinny ones. I'll tell you guys about them when I use them. You can get them on Amazon. I have them linked in my Amazon storefront, and that link is in the description of the video. So hopefully you can find that if that's of interest to you. And they look like this. They're the 3/8 inch super thin. The old packaging looked like this. So same thing, same product. I like those ducks. Okay, got flowers. Just trying to decide if I want a little something, you know, a little extra. Maybe we get some torn paper going. That kind of evens that out some. I'm trying to decide if I want that much of, yeah, I think I'm going to have it at the top. This was a little too much for my eye. So how about if I just glue that right in there, and then we're just going to keep going because I'm spending a whole lot of time decorating the front, and I know you guys probably want to see me put in some more pockets and things. All right, and I'm just going to glue this entire one down. You could certainly install the envelope itself like a pocket, leave the side open if you wanted to for a little tuck spot. I'm just going to glue mine down. All right. It's different anyway, isn't it? Okay, we're going to open it up, and I am going to use, again, just some of the pieces to decorate. I want to find the pig, because I don't want to lose track of him, and I also have a little pig, because he was kind of the inspiration all along. Don't want to cover up the cow. All right, we'll set him there. He may get to be featured somewhere. He could also be one of the belly bands, perhaps. Excuse me. So, this folio is 6 inches tall. So I'm just going to make a decision, and Mr. Pig here is going to be a belly band. Did it just a smidge under 6. He's so cute. And we can add one of those little words or something. Now, on the original one, let me show you where I put the belly band. I put it right back here. Okay. I'm trying to decide if since I love the pig so much, if maybe I want to bring him to this page. And again, it really doesn't matter where you decide to put things, or the different elements, and you can do different ones. You don't even have to have a belly band, right? So I'm just adding glue at the top and bottom. I did come down just a little bit, and I'm gonna glue him down. Very sweet. Very sweet. Let's see. I'm gonna cut out, whew, I've still got parts of that ribbon flying around. I'm going to pull out the Spring Sunshine. I don't know if it's not summer quite yet. It is getting towards the end of May. Might be close to the end of May when you guys watch this. I'm filming it ahead of time before I leave town. I'm not even sure what day you guys will see this lovely one-page wonder. I'm going to put Spring Sunshine right up there. Maybe we'll name the pig Sunshine. All right, very sweet. All right, I definitely want something down here on this pocket. Maybe one of these labels. But again, it will definitely need a word or something in there. I'll just put in a cottage garden. We'll see how that looks. And I've never, I guess as a child, I was on farms more, right? And one home we lived in, we briefly, for a few years, lived in Louisville, Kentucky. I think from the time I was maybe 5th through 7th grade, something like that. So maybe 3 school years. And yeah, let's put that right there. There was a farm, like if you go down our backyard, down this path and up on this hill, there was a farm with cows and all kinds of things. And there was a creek back there and we were allowed to play, you know, on that land. So I remember that. And at my grandparents, they had friends and neighbors that were farmers. My cousin, her husband, but they weren't pig or cow farmers. They were, you know, they grew crops in Georgia. So anyway, but I've always like, you know, the idea, right? The idea of it. I doubt I would be a great, you know, farmer. But anyway, fun things. I'm going to pick something to put in the pocket, in the belly band, but we'll keep going decorating. So we have this page, and like I said, I really liked that font, so we'll see if we can come up with something. We have this page. Now, in the original one, I have no idea where this, oh, here it is. I did use the piece that I cut off of this pocket, and I put it here as a tuck spot, and I just had to trim it down. So I think if we take about 1/2 inch off, it's right at 4. Let's go to like 3.5. It should, yeah, it fits right in this panel. There's not much contrast with the double-sided scrapbook paper. There was, of course. So I may want to, you know, put something on here, or we may just do something like that. I'm going to set that here for just a second because I do have an idea with these stacked pockets. I don't think I'm going to stack them, but I will use them on some of the pages. So let's come here. All right, so we open that and we have these 2 pages. I'm thinking about, and I certainly don't need, you know, a great big pocket. So I think I'm going to trim, I like this yellow plaid. I'm going to make it, and a lot of my ephemera pieces are small. So I'm going to do 2 1/4. I just decided to pick. And let's see if we can punch these out. This might have been a 1 inch. And you can always go larger. And if you can't get it exactly like the paper printed for these, it's not a big deal. Or I don't think it is. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and punch all 3 of them, even if I end up trimming them some. All right, so we'll put 1 here, a little bit of ink. See, by the time you add your own ink, it's not really too much of an issue. Glue on 3 sides. Bring it up a bit. Now, I'm not sure yet what I want to do here, so I'm going to wait just a moment. And then come back over here. And I was thinking, actually, I know I just cut that off, but if I cut this, we could do some crisscross pockets, which will be a little different than what we did before. So I just trimmed that off, and now I'm going to cut it at the angle. And let's see how this looks. It's not printed on both sides, so the pocket, and I didn't make it into a square, so the square would have made this fit better. So let's go back. What were we at? It was like 3.5 inches. So now I just need to hold it together. There's another way to do this, but this is for me the easiest because I don't have to think as much. All right, 3.5, 3.5. All right, now I have, even if the wood goes different, No, it still doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? I have an idea. I'm going to use this just as one corner, and then look at this. Ha ha! This fits perfectly right here. Yay, it worked out. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I know what I did wrong, because I had already cut the angle. The angle wasn't correct on the square. It was correct for the rectangle. So if I cut it into a 3.5 by 3.5 inch square and then cut the diagonal, I would have had two pieces the same size. Hello. You know, mathing, adulting. I'm going to glue this down flat. Here, wait, another idea. Hold on. If I use this on this panel, we could make it where there's a tuck here and a tuck here. Is this one too big? And this one still fits there. I don't know. I seem to, whatever reason, I like it better this way. And I'm not going to worry about making a double tuck up in, but you could. And if you want to do that, just add the glue on those two sides instead of gluing it all the way down. Whoops. Well, I didn't get that super straight, but that's okay. Again, it's a junk journal, and I can add some decoration. So I'm just adding glue to the two sides, leaving it open so we can tuck something up in here if we choose to. And I'm going to glue this one down. And if you want this one to have some book page behind it, just get another piece of book page. But by using that, I've now used the entire 12 by 12. Didn't waste anything. Okay, cute. Got a string from the ribbon hanging off. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Now I have this lovely pocket here that we could use. I also have another envelope. Let's fold this envelope. We may just, again, tuck it in a pocket, but I may decide it fits on that panel. We'll see once we get it scored and folded. It's always fun for me when I get to work with new papers, but it also, you know, sometimes you have to think a little bit. I love using elements in what I think of as surprise ways, maybe ways that it wasn't necessarily intended, to make it my own. I like the shape of this little envelope, don't you guys? Did I score this one? There we go. Okie doke. I hope everybody is having a good almost summer. We're trying to start to make some plans. Things this year have been a little different with family and so much going on with our new graduate student. And then making plans with the kids that live here in town, and my daughter lives in New York, you know. But we definitely want to, my husband and I, get away somewhere for some kind of trip, and his health is doing well. We're so fortunate. So we need to enjoy that, right? But I haven't made any plans. Do you guys have any summer plans? Or have any fun things that you're going to be going to do? Let me just glue this together. I guess I could have looked at it before I glued it in case I wanted to use it in a different way. And hose. All right, so one idea would be to install it like we did, but it's also just lovely to go in one of the big pockets. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I do want to put one of the little tiny words on that label. I'm going to do Meadow Bliss. Cut it tiny because it already has a little border. Sometimes I don't cut all the little tiny pieces out ahead of time just because they're so tiny. I feel confident that I will lose them or lose some of them. So at least keeping them together like that, it's a little bit larger piece of paper. Okay, I'm just going to tuck this one in here. I'm happy with it like that. The other place it could tuck, which would be cute, is right in here. Oops. Oh, I didn't do a flip on this one. That's what I didn't do. Oh, well, it's okay. That would be cute too, though, like this. But I don't want to cover up Mr. Piggy's face. We're going to put it in here. I'll put something else back there. Yeah, I did one that did a flip. Remember a pocket and it flipped open? Oh, well, I'll show it to you if you want to do that. All it was a piece of paper, or it was one of the pieces of ephemera, but it's 6 inches, folded in half, 1/2 installed like a tuck spot, and then this is a flip open page. So if you want to do that, you certainly can. Let's pick. Ooh, more pigs. Look at that. I think I'm going to tear it because I can, right? I think it'll fit in there a little bit better. I am covering up the plaid, but we'll use some of that plaid somewhere else, either as to tuck in one of these pockets or somewhere, because I did like the plaid. All right. Let's cut these 2 cards out. Could have used my trimmer. This one needs a little haircut. And I may come back through and do some ribbon and things. But these fit in here nicely. Maybe I'll put something else. I don't want to cover up. I don't want to cover up the pretty too much. Let's see. That one fits there nicely. We need something here. Maybe I'll put, I'm going to go with something a little bit different size, maybe. Still have that pocket I did not use. Now I may take, this is a good idea, take this strip, because whoever I end up, giving this one to, or whoever ends up using it, might be fun to have this paper. I'm going to do it maybe like a little off. Well, I didn't do a hard crease, so here we go. Hopefully it's going to fit in here, which is what I want. Just barely. Let's see. Yeah, it's fitting. Okay. La-di-da-di-da. And this page opens up. We still haven't done anything here. I guess this is where it won't be a wraparound flip, but we could do a little flip page. So I'm going to just fold a hinge like this. This is what we're going to use our plaid for. And what am I going to cover up that white with? All right, and then this way, I'll get to see, or I could open it, the flip this way, and I'll get to see that font. So I'll do that. Not necessary, but I kind of like it. It gives it a little bit of a finished look. And I'm definitely going to put something on here. All right. The other option is we could do this, and then I cover this side, and when you open it up, you have the plaid. Let me see what I have that might work. I think a lot of the things I have, ooh, are those cute, now are a little bit small. I'm going to put this pig here. So I think I may go back to book page, right? And then we'll, add one of these on there. I just don't want to see all of that white. Whoops. All right, don't have glue on that little portion, or you will end up gluing your pocket closed, and you don't want to do that. All right. Book page. All right. Where are the strips that I cut off? I think I left them in the other part of the room. So we'll just use a piece of this. I'm going to glue it down. And I think on this side, I am going to put a piece of washi tape. Again, because I can. All right, very quick and easy. We're gonna trim it out. I was gonna use the book page that, you know, is the same from the same book, but it's on the other side of the room. So we'll just not worry about it. All right, definitely gonna have the plaid on this side, open it up. And then here, that would be cute. Let's do that. And then I'll think of something for the inside. La-da-da. So when you think about the farm animals, if you're still with me, I know a lot of people will have stopped watching by this point, which is fine. What is your favorite farm animal? It would be really hard for me to choose. And it doesn't have to be like because you love the live version, but like, you know, if you think they're cute. My mother, of course, loved roosters. I have a lot of cow decorations and ephemera in my house. I don't have, I'm just pulling some things over so I can, oh wait, here's some washi tape. I'm trying to reach washi tape without getting up. Ah, this'll work, yay. But anyway, my mother loved the roosters. I like cows and pigs and chickens. Yeah, I like a lot of them. Don't know that I want this sweet little girl, even though she's sweet. It's not really going with my vision. Yeah, we'll stick her right there, and we'll stick this piece right here. Probably need to start a new one of those. All right. And I guess I'm going to end up with a little bit of a girl. There we go. It's okay. All right. Put that away. Very sweet. Do I want a Velcro dot? Maybe. Why not? Keep it from flapping around on us. Get the other side. There we go. I ended up not using this and I don't think I need it, so I'm gonna move it before I burn myself. All right, I turned it off, put it in its, where I store it spot so it's safe. Let's cut. I just made a big mess. Okay, let's cut these apart really quick using the trimmer. And get some of these pockets filled. And we'll be close to being done. I think because I used book page, which I think does look wonderful, there was a little more layering and decorating. You know, if you choose a, did I glue that? No. If you choose, you know, a paper kit, a scrapbook paper kit, then you already have, you know, all those lovely cut aparts and other things too. All right, I want something here and I want something here. I think I'm going to do that. So I'll have, I like the pig. My mama would like this rooster here. All right, I'm going to be a little more careful this time when I add the glue. I only need it on a portion so that I don't glue my pocket closed. All right, whoops. And I definitely want something in this pocket. And I think I'm going to cut this to be approximately 6 inches. Just cut a little off the top, a little off the bottom. And it can go in my big pocket back here. And because of the glue, it's sticking out a little. We'll decide, since it doesn't have anything on the back, let's just put this here for now so you don't see that white. And I can back it more later. And I can also trim it down a little more if I want to. But there we go. Boy, have I made a mess. All right, a word for right there. La. I'm almost done, I think. How about country serenity? I like these little faux, you know, like plates. They all look like they've been nailed or screwed on with the little embellishment there. See, don't they look cute? It's very cute. Right. All right, I'm gonna do this, and then this, and then this. All right, let's see what it looks like. Now, I could use that hot glue to hold this so it's not flipping around, and I do think I'm going to do that. Just turn it back on. Hopefully, it's still a little warm, and we can get a dot of glue out of here. Let's try it. It was on for a while, but it sure does cool off fast. Okay, let's give it just a moment. Should I cut a little card out? How about this one with the train? Let's see if it fits in there. And it needs a haircut. We'll stick it in there so that there's a, you know, a something something when somebody opens it up. I love it. I do. The only reason that white's showing a little bit is because it's folded over. All right, we can put that big envelope in here. We could tuck these cows in there. Just darling, just darling. Let me know if you guys like this, this paper. I'm just having fun. Fun with it. All right, and we put this one back here. I think I'm gonna call it finished. I am going to get a dot of glue. There it goes, right in there, because I kind of want the ribbon to stay like this and not be flopping around. Well, love it, delightful. This is a little bit of a challenge, but I'm gonna leave it. I like it there, and it makes me happy. All right, so two very different end products, same fold and score with the paper. So I didn't even use any of those little tags or butterflies. And I didn't get to use one of these, but that's okay. I will use them for another project soon. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you will make one. Leave me a comment and let me know. Until next time, have a great day.